Okay, guys, welcome back. Very far top right corner, it's going to be the blue Zerg player, StarTale's very own Life. Can Keen handle Life on this day? We'll see as he is spawning down here in the bottom right corner as your MVP Red Terran player.
So, for those of you out there that are into Southeast Asian studies, what I was going to allude to, and then I kind of wanted to start off the game. So we looked at the characters, and I knew that it wasn't the Terran character, so because it wasn't the same as Keen's, it was different. So then I looked at the first character of the race, and for Zerg, actually, in the Taiwanese client, if you try to get a Korean client, obviously you need, if you don't know, you actually need like a Korean social security number, essentially.
Yeah, because they make people who are under 18, right, go to sleep earlier. They turn off the StarCraft. They're like, it's off, no more. You can't play after like midnight.
Yeah, I don't know the facts about that, but
I know they shut you down pretty early if you're younger. But yeah. Anyways, that's why you can't grab a Korean account. You grab Taiwanese. Right. Right.
So I play on the Taiwanese account, and I didn't realize we were actually looking at the Korean characters. Like I don't know. Like I took Chinese, but I didn't really realize the difference there. And so I looked at the first character, and I was like, oh, it doesn't have the character for mouth in it. The Zerg character has the character for mouth. It's just a little box. And so I was like, oh, it's definitely Protoss then, because it's not the same as Keen's, and the first character doesn't have a mouth in it, so it's Protoss.
And you say so, man.
Then we realized that it was actually Life, and I went, but it wasn't the right character. And then I knew that it was in Korean, and it was Hangul, and then I felt silly.
I'll just say it straight up, man. I can't read any other language. That's it. I can't write it. I can't read it. I can barely do English, so I will be staying away from other languages.
I definitely can't read made-up words,
Yeah.
Like if you were like using like Kerrigan, like that's a name. I wouldn't know where to begin on trying to read something like Kerrigan in
I just know
Chinese characters.
English and like bad English, what I use around when I'm drunk. That's about it. Yep, essentially, and gibberish. That's a good one too. Well, looking into the builds here, guys, it looks like we do have a command center first here for Keen. You can get away with this on Whirlwind. He is going to play safer here and put it on the high ground, just making sure that his opponent doesn't 10-pull him or anything.
Because Life will do that.
He will do that. Life is, he likes to take Life by the horns, man, and he'll randomly throw out a couple of random builds here. So we went into a command center, into a Rax, into a gas. So he'll have Reactor Hellions, a little delayed Reactor Hellions, but still going to have the availability here to get on the map and slow down map, creep control, and all that
fun stuff. Because he did get that gas. I hope wherever Axel Toss is in the world, I just made him proud right now.
Why?
Whenever you drop a good line, Axel, he rubbed off on me in that regard, because he does the, that was good. Ooh.
Axel Toss, man.
I did it, and then I was
muscular.
like, oh, you're rubbing off on me too much, Alex.
Well, a couple of Lings will deal with this SCV that came in for the Scout. Keen does see everything, does know what exactly Life is going for. Life on this map, I feel, really enjoys to open up into mutas and then follows up into whatever he needs to react to against his opponent. He had a really cool game that I watched a couple weeks ago where he opened up mutas, got some harassment, and realized his opponent was going mech, so he switched straight into Infestation Pit and Roach Warren and just made sure to get the right engagements. Life, I feel like, has a really good win ratio on this map. Every time I see him play, I swear he wins, just because it's really nice for Zergs if you react accordingly to your opponent.
Yeah, and these positions are a little bit tough, though.
Yeah, they're a little tough.
Admittedly.
I agree.
Because Keen can come out of his natural here down at this ramp, and it's a straight shot, up to the this area. But you know what? We actually see Life take this third base, and I think this is actually really interesting. Let's see. Does he know the spawning location of his opponent yet? Yeah, it looks as if he does. He's seen the lack of a wall off here, so he actually cancels the expansion. So
okay, I was gonna say, I was looking at that. Maybe he was trying to feint out his opponent because, as I mentioned earlier, he loves to have mutas on this map. So there's a potential that he'll stay on 2-base for a little bit. And if your opponent comes in and doesn't see a third, okay, he's going for really strong 2-base. I just need to prepare for that. And behind all of it, Life is getting a third with, well, essentially a hidden third with a lot of drones there. So I thought maybe that was the strategy he was going for. But again, it was just a lack of a scout. He took a chance there thinking it might be cross positions. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting that we see such a drastic maneuver here out of Life. He's like, oh, you're not where I thought that you might be. I thought we were going to be cross positions. It turns out we're not. So I will actually actually cancel my hatchery and move it to the other side, because I know that with a hatchery in this position, if you are down and to the right, sir, I am in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he won't be able to defend really any push that comes his way. He'll have to sacrifice it no matter what. At least with this third, he can set up flanks.
Yeah, the thing is, you know, if you try to do a siege push from here, you're going to be vulnerable from the top and from the left-hand side. Trying to come in for a push here, it's very easy to get flanked around from the back and also to push down the front at the same time. So Hellion's going to slip into the natural expansion here. That's a couple of drones going down.
All right, looks like we're going to have the drones tagging on top of the Hellions, and we'll be forced to retreat here. Only a couple of drones being killed off. Ling's darting on in. With the Queen help, we'll be able to get rid of that Hellion. So at that point, King goes, okay, I killed off a couple of Hellions. I need to get my Hellion into the main so I can at least scout what's going on. He does see the lair timing, but did not see the gas in the top left corner, which you can kind of assume at this point that
He could have seen the mining, though, actually.
Yeah, that's true. You are correct. So for the most part, you have a good idea of what exactly Life has available to him. Knows that lair will be finishing up pretty soon.
Yeah.
And he has siege mode and stim pack on the way.
All right, so likely a quick third here out of Keen. Oh, here it is, actually, with the siege tech. Obviously makes a lot of sense there. And quick 1-1. So he's going to be playing quite greedy here against Life in order to try to get some sort of an edge. We'll see what strategies Life opts to go for. 1-1 on the way. And an 8:30 Baneling Nest-ish is going to be wrapping up here in just a moment. Very common drop defense maneuver here out of Life. So the Baneling Nest certainly does not mean that Life intends to be aggressive.
Getting +1/1 as well. Both players are here. We have +1 attack, +1 armor for both players. And Keen kind of shaping up like he's going to have a 2-2 timing. Looking into his build here now, there we go. He starts to starport it up. So we'll be getting his third pretty soon. And for this most part, he'll shark around with his Marines a couple of times here and there outside the natural. And the third of his opponent try and slow down creep. But I really feel like he wants to go for a 2-2 timing that's like super strong, and he just move across the middle of the map. Now that normally hits around 13, 14 minutes. So keep an eye for Keen. Just the way everything looks, it really looks like he might want to go in that way.
Yeah, a lot of times we actually see Terrans make those pushes a little early, and then they let 2-2 finish kind of while they're sitting in position, and then they really start to encroach on the Zerg territory. We see that a ton on the maps where it's a little more difficult to push, such as Abyssal City and maps like Whirlwind. So I completely agree with you, Tim. I think that is what we're going to be seeing out of Keen in all likelihood. Life, will he be able to deal with that? You know, he's going for the Infestation Pit. He's a little bit behind on the 1-1, but only slightly. He's making a lot of Zerglings right now, actually.
Is Life aware of the double engineering bay in the main?
I don't think he has actually gotten into the main.
Okay,
yeah.
So he hasn't scouted the main here, and he seems a little bit on the frightened side. He's actually creating a lot of lings here, and he wants to do an aggressive attack with +1/1, and just try and slow down his opponent with a third, try and get him to live, because it is a little bit on the earlier side. But for the good part for Keen here, he's pretty well set up. He's got a couple of siege tanks outside of his natural, has a decent amount of Marines, he has stim pack and +1/1. Should be having some medevacs out pretty soon too, so he should be okay.
No Marines guarding these tanks. Life notices this. He's going to come into the third while going either for a run-by or a flank on these tanks with this small group of Zerglings here. So this is a pre-thought-out staged attack here from Life. It's going to be very carefully coordinated. Lings coming in small clumps on the right. Now they're converging from all sides, and here we go.
All right, we'll be charging again. Ducky on top of the siege tanks. 2 siege tanks on the high ground. We'll be dealing with the Lings over here, but with that +1/1, they're just a little bit stronger here. The Lings in the third were cleaned up as well, so Keen just had everything set up there perfectly to defend against a huge potential 3-4 pronged attack, and that's what Life's really known for. So Keen, being aware of it, just sat up perfectly.
Yeah, you kind of want to say well defended there by Keen.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, Keen didn't actually do anything. He didn't even bother lifting his supply depot there. It was mostly just pre-thought good positioning. This tank is covered, covers this tank. This tank is covered by both of these tanks. You know, everything really taking care of each other here. A nice little daisy chain from Keen, and everything's really on lockdown.
Well, infestors are scouted here for Keen. So he realizes, okay, my opponent probably will be staying on top of Ling Infestor for a while here. Probably wants to move straight up into the Hive Tech, and Hive Tech is on the way here for Life, as it has just been queued up. We have a third and fourth base. Third has been completed, a fourth is now on the way for Life. So at this point, just trying to keep tabs on his opponent, but for the most part, Keen's looking pretty decent, to be honest with you. +2/2s on the way, keeping with siege tanks, keeping up with medevacs, hasn't taken really any damage, moving into a fourth. I don't know, I like his position.
Better be good.
All right, let's see if the medevac does get spotted. It's very much in the bottom corner of the map, but actually 2 red dots may give that away a little. We didn't see him look down, but a Marine was dropped off to deal with that Zergling.
All right, trying to move out and slowing down this creep as this creep is slowly making its way to his third and now turn on. At this point, you just gotta do something about it.
Yeah.
Life's doing a good job of making sure the creep is moving forward by having infestors and lings here. At which point, if Marines overcommit way too much, he can just land a huge fungal. That's what he wants to hit, is the Marines. He doesn't really care about the Hellions. And you see that moving straight into the Marines. Gotta land another fungal as well. 3 fungals hit, getting those units very low, especially the medevacs. They're low on health and energy.
All right, this medevac continuing to circle around the edge, as you said. Medevac's losing it. Look at the energy, actually, on these. I mean, 25-0, essentially.
And with that health being brought down and the medevacs losing a lot of energy, it makes it where Keen doesn't want to move out. You feel like if you get to an engagement, you're going to lose pretty handedly because you just don't have the sustained health. So,
and even if you win the engagement, you're going to stim your army to death and follow up.
Yeah, so he just to try to move forward and keep killing creep, but I don't expect him to move out, which allows Life to move up to this hive tech. He's getting a Adrenal Gland out now, should be moving into Greater Spire very soon. 40 Lings on the way and some Banelings.
A lot of fungals are being used on these Marines, though, as they do clean up creep. Drop is getting ready to come in the top left-hand corner. Zergling's in position, though, already for Life, so he did take note of that drop heading out. Ling's coming in for a small counter here, but I don't think anything of true value is going to be lost by Keen. Keen's now pushing out across the map. Life seems very infestor-heavy right now, Tim. Is he going to be able to deal with this? There's not a lot of Banelings.
It might be okay. Depends on the spread here. And the reason why Keen's moving out is he saw a good 25 Lings up the top left corner for that one drop. And he goes, okay, you have a majority of your army here just trying to defend against the drop that I'm going to do. I'm just going to move out in the middle of the map. And you see him, too. He's clearing out creep spread if you look at the mini-map. Really nice job here from Keen, taking advantage of Life being a little bit advantageous of trying to take out those drops.
That tank is just a little too far away to be supported by this one. Infestors are separate from the Lings right now. Keen, I agree with you. This push is phenomenal out of Keen, but he's coming in right now from the top with a drop. Life getting units in position in order to deal with this. The tanks are caught completely out of position, and StarTale Life getting in a ton of damage right now against MVP Keen's army.
Getting a little bit too forward with those siege tanks, unfortunately. They're just trying to set up, and at that point loses a few, but is able to catch a couple of Lings off guard, as Lings aren't too good against Marines if they're on even upgrades, especially with medevac support. You need Banelings in this army. Will focus down the siege tanks. A couple of them will be killed off, but still, Keen moving forward, head in the top left corner, and it looks like his medevac is still alive in the top right corner if he wants to grab that. The Marines have been killed off, but he still has it available.
Yeah, it is a full energy medevac. This expansion is slightly vulnerable right now, but Infestors and Lings coming in from the back. Not many Lings, and a beautiful spread here from Keen. Look at how he's got all his Marines in a line and doesn't take out the hatchery. He's actually...
Oh, wow. Nice flank. He comes in behind. He snipes 3 to 4 Infestors at the same time.
Man.
Really well done here. But Broodlords are now out for Life. Can he hold the push? As in the top left corner, this hatchery will be going down.
Lots of damage coming in from Keen right now. Life is cutting off the reinforcements. He wants to isolate, then kill this army. The Broodlords have arrived. The hatchery will narrowly be saved with only 300 hit points, but the one up top will fall.
At the same time, Lings are still taking out the reinforcements here. A few of those units were still on rally point, and Keen just didn't get into attacking formation. And there we go. Now we'll be attacking into the Lings, but he lost a couple of siege tanks, a good hefty amount of Marines. Unfortunately, just a huge waste for Keen, because those were all for free that Life got those kills for, because they were on rally point.
Yeah, now he's losing tanks and just really getting into a tough spot. He got into some nice economic damage there. Notably, Keen is on 4 mining bases right now, so a huge income for MVP Keen, whereas StarTale Life doesn't have nearly as much going on. But Keen is still working on that Viking count. He does not have many at all. In fact, he only has 2 in order to battle against the 7 Broodlords that Life currently is in possession of.
Well, the good news for Keen is this map is pretty big, so we can squeeze out a few more Vikings before an engagement does happen. In that economy, he has had the 3 to 4 bases. Look at his macro. He's been doing a good job of constantly pumping out units here. So he's looking really good at the moment.
Oh, man.
He just needs to wait a little bit longer. He needs a few more units out. Because unfortunately, Siege Tank Marine is really hard to pull off against Broodlord. You just need an overwhelming number of Vikings.
You know, Tim, he's also got 3-3 completed, whereas Life right now has 0-0 on the air for the Broodlords, and on the ground, his Zerglings are just 3-1.
Oh, there we go. Broodlings shelling away, Lings charging on in, and Keen is forced to stim and run away. Not even kiting, unfortunately, because he just can't. He'll take too much damage. Siege Tank's now sieging up. Only one Siege Tank, actually, and that will be dealt with pretty handedly as Broodlords are now moving their way on forward. Bam! There it goes. It is Dunsies, and Life is just sitting here with a huge army.
Oh, but this hatchery could get sniped, and this would be so incredibly huge for Keen. Life, you know, he's reestablished this base, or he's actually established this base, we should say, down in the bottom right-hand corner, but he is not mining well at all right now. His income plummeting down to less than half that of Keen's. All Keen needs to do here is hold.
All right, doing his best as well to constantly kite back on these Corruptors, get some free damage in as well. Will get a Bruiser pretty low at the same time. Ling's moving forward, but there is that artificial wall there. It's really hard for Ling's to engage. It is going to get the Bruisers off as a majority of the Corruptors will kill it off, but with reinforcements, looks like Life will be able to be okay here. Gotta be careful. The stem forward charging right away. Gotta be careful. Oh, jeez. Keen's doing his best here, but the Lings are just so strong with that Adrenal Glands and that plus 3/3.
There are no Infestors left here with Life's army. He actually only has one Infestor on the map right now. And Broodlord Zergling, with the Zerglings only having 3-1 without those carapace upgrades. Yeah, that's what I was saying about Keen's army. Take a look at these Zerglings, guys. They do not have the extra carapace upgrades, and they are up against 3 bio out of Keen. Keen also has a ton of Vikings still on the field at this point, and now I think Keen held. He's got the follow-up here. He's got the upgrades, and all he needs to do is take this game.
All right, Lings darting forward. A few Banelings in the mix. Only a couple of them. If you can snipe the Banelings and keep moving forward, these Marines will kill off these Lings. You're right. With the 3-1 upgrades, those Lings are significantly weaker. And Keen knows it too. He keeps moving forward. He slowed down the creep spread as well. He's kept his opponent down to 3 bases because he killed that base in the top left corner. Luckily, Life was able to manage to get this base, but Keen is aware of it. And look at him just moving forward. His positioning has been awesome in this game.
Yeah, Keen has played an incredibly strong ZVT here on Whirlwind. Will he be able to secure the win versus Life? We're about to find out. Vikings are going to come in, sniping these Broodlords so incredibly easily. Fungal's on the ground, will land on a fair number of Vikings, but not nearly enough. And now as the Marines come forward, there's nothing left to deal with these forces. Life coming forward with all his units, but the siege tanks obliterate them. And I think Keen, now 100 supply ahead, has secured this game.
Life was way too late with his Lings there, and now he knows it. At this point, what is the supply? 86 supply to 180. Keen doing the miraculous here. You would think that he would take out Life. A huge Fungal, but whatever, man. I have 20,000 medevacs. GG. Keen is going to be advancing forward. MVP taking the series up to 2-0.
I am blown away by Keen's performance that game.
That was really well done. Speechless. That was a... Isn't that how it goes? I think I was a little bit over the top.
We need a Q meme right now.
Keen, that was awesome, dude. Well played.
Keen meme.
Life had the tools to really handle that, but he was just being a little bit drawn out too much with one medevac. Like he had 20, 25, 30 Lings up the top left corner, which slowed down his creep tumors. Slow down his vision, of course, slow down his reinforcement rates.
Yeah.
He lost an evolution chamber there, which I didn't realize until you mentioned, when that drop went in the top right corner, which means he didn't have plus 3 carapace, which is quite painful against 3/3 Marines. Keen, man. Well done.
Yeah, I'm blown away. I mean, I said it as we went into it. I was like, well, if they pick Life, you know, it's going to put him in a tough spot. Keen really good with his early game, and I was like, maybe Life would lose to some cheese. And I kind of feel I feel as if I shouldn't have said that with how glorious that performance actually just was out of Keen. Like
the Viking kiting at the end,
dude. That was one of the best games I have ever seen played out of MVP Keen. It was phenomenal.
Certainly, his
spread across the map. You mentioned it, how he can't push out right now, but he still managed to kill all that creep, which was just huge in his follow-up push. That was just a fantastic game out of him.
Well, we're gonna get ready for game number 3, guys. Do we know who it's going to be?
Bomber coming out next.
Oh, that's.
StarTale.
Yeah, all right, man. Bomber versus Keen. Let's do it, man. Some TBT action, commercial break, and we'll bump into it.